Exclusive Ipsos polling for Global News shows that almost 1/3 of Canadians would never consider voting Liberal in the next federal election.
I've never seen a circumstance in which this government has been rated so high on never vote for. It shows you that it's just a solid wall of public disapproval that they're facing, and it makes it incredibly hard to see how they can recover from where they are.
So 27% of people, meanwhile, said they would never vote Conservative. The NDP and Bloc Québécois trail behind that at 14% and 5% respectively. Conservatives currently have a 19-point lead over the Liberals, who remain no better than second in every region. Darrell Bricker from Ipsos joins me now with all the details of their latest poll. Darrell, we appreciate this, so break it down for us. What do people feel of the federal budget?
Not much. In fact, we asked people, we said, do you give it a symbolic 2 thumbs up, a symbolic 2 thumbs down, or do you just shrug your shoulders? 17% said 2 thumbs up. 43%, actually 40% said 2 thumbs down, and 43% just said, I'm shrugging my shoulders. And then we asked them another question, which was, do you think this is going to help you or hurt you? And the percentage saying it was going to help them was about 10%. The percentage that said it was going to actually hurt them was 37, so almost 4 to 1. So if the goal of the budget was to really give Canadians a very positive assessment about what the next 18 months is going to be like under administration, the Liberal administration, it doesn't seem to be working at the moment.
So you're looking at this. This was basically touted as an affordable living budget in many ways. Talked about housing, for example. But you're looking at only 17% approved it. A lot of people thought going into this, the Liberals, because you saw the numbers going into basically their polling numbers, they kind of needed a Hail Mary, didn't they? And it didn't even seem like, forget someone catching it in the end zone. It didn't even seem like they got out of the pocket and maybe the quarterback was sacked on this one. What's your impression?
And fumbled the ball. And there's only 2 minutes left on the clock. I mean, this did not reverse things to the extent that the Liberals wanted them to. In fact, what it probably did was reinforce the sentiments that were already there, which is 75% of Canadians, at least in this poll, saying that it's now time for a change.
Was there any difference? You see a lot of the provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan, not necessarily supportive of the Liberal government right now. But was there any change that maybe you were surprised by those polling numbers? Maybe demographically, regionally?
It is so consistent over every region, across every demographic group. There's it's slightly better among younger Canadians, but still 2 to 1, not good. I think the biggest change that's happened in all of this was on the question of leadership. We now see Pierre Poilievre at 48% in terms of best prime minister, compared to 23% for Justin Trudeau, and that's the first time we've ever seen that. So all of the things moving against the government, reinforced by what happened over the space of the last few days. So if the budget was an opportunity to change the direction of things, what it really did was reinforce people's views that they want a change in government, and that they see the most likely change, or the most appropriate change, as being the Conservatives at the moment.
You've covered polling numbers for quite some time, not to age you, of course, but have you ever seen numbers like these?
Yeah, Brian Mulroney in the early 1990s, when he came out of the GST and Meech Lake and all the other things that they dealt with around the Constitution, the public just said, thanks, but no thanks. We're ready to move on. And you saw Mulroney's numbers drop, actually even lower than this. So yeah, very much in this direction. And the other part is that, Anthony, is it's not like something new has just happened. This has been locked in for almost a year now. Nothing that the government is doing is changing the direction of what Canadians think about how they want to vote in the next election. And as a result, what's happening is they're running out of options, and at some point they're going to be running out of racetrack.
So you mentioned Brian Mulroney. Now, he stepped down and Kim Campbell took over, ultimately became Prime Minister as a result, but that party was decimated in the, 1993 election, reduced to 2 seats, if I recall. So, I mean, you wonder what the future of the Liberal Party would be, and also the future of Justin Trudeau. He says he vows to stay on. But, in terms of racetrack, in terms of the runway left, I mean, how difficult is it going to be for him and the party to turn this around?
Well, I think that he still pretty solidly has his caucus behind him, and normally these things come out of the caucus. In the previous years, they used to come out of the Senate, but he blew up the partisanship in the Senate, so he doesn't have that issue to deal with. But over a period of time, it depends on how many people who are part of his current caucus decide that they're going to stick by him and go into a situation in which they're very likely to lose their seat in the next election campaign. So I think polls like this are going to really raise some questions about whether the members of the Liberal Party are enthusiastic about getting behind Justin Trudeau in the next election campaign, and particularly the members of his caucus are prepared to go through what they're about to go through. It's one thing for Justin Trudeau to go through it, but it's another thing for his entire caucus to go through it. So I think that at some point people are going to start asking some questions.
Yeah, and you wonder when the knives will come out, at least within his own party. But as you say, they've stuck by him throughout all this, so it's interesting to see where this goes. That is Darrell Brooker from Ipsos. Darrell, we appreciate talking to you. Thank you so much.